William Saliba has reportedly told Marseille that he wants to remain in France next season. That is the big headline doing the rounds as we speak. Arsenal fans desperate for Saliba to rejoin them after, of course, winning the Young Player of the Year award in France. But could he be on his way out? In other reports, Frankie de Jong's move to Manchester United is being reported as close and moving forward with great pace. We're going to delve into both these stories this afternoon. We're going to take your calls on another live edition of the Done Deal Show. Make sure the like button has been smashed. You've retweeted if you're watching right now on Twitter. Let's do this. Welcome back to the Terrace, another episode of the Done Deal Show. And big breaking news in the Arsenal community today. The big headlines starting to circulate, picking up pace. William Saliba, Arsenal loanee, sends strong message to Marseille that he wants to stay at the club next season rather than return to the Emirates. This, if it happens, will be a dagger blow to the majority of Arsenal fans that are desperate to see the return of this player. The Arsenal centre-back here has reportedly told them this. He says the Gunners forked out £27 million to sign the youngster from Saint Etienne in 2019, but he is yet to be handed his first team debut. Obviously won the Player of the Year award. It's seen him break into the France setup under Didier Deschamps, but could he be about to turn his back on Arsenal? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this. I want to know what you're thinking and you're feeling. From my point of view, I have to say I'm not surprised. And Arsenal fans are not going to like that. Oh, you're being negative about our club. It's not about negativity about Arsenal. It's not about being disrespectful. I'm just not surprised. It doesn't surprise me. I also think it might be a power play, by the way. There's talk about Gabriel maybe leaving Arsenal. There's also talk about him getting a new deal. I don't see how Ben White, Gabriel, and Saliba are all kept happy. They're all in and around the same level as each other. They're all young. They all need game time. And I know people will say rotation, but I think Saliba, and what I'm about to say, I mean with positivity. He has an ego that tells him, I'm not a League Cup player. I'm not playing the Europa League games. I want to start in the Prem. Ben White wants to start in the Prem. Gabriel wants to start in the Prem. Something's got to give. I get a feeling of power play here. I get a feeling of, well, I'm going to let Arsenal think I want to stay at Marseille. Maybe not so much offer me an improved contract, but improved status in the club. Maybe it'll make them think differently about, who their number one centre-back is, as an example. So from my point of view, I think it's a very intriguing one to see this kind of pick up pace in the way. And the story doesn't go away. Every time he's loaned out. See, the other thing that's in the back of my mind, right? I'm hitting my head when I say that. You can't hear me hitting my head, but it's sort of like, right? Every time he's loaned out, the press make a point of saying, with no option to buy. They make a really big song and dance. No option to buy, no option to buy, no option to buy. I remember many Gooners last year felt this additional loan deal could have been the end of his time at Arsenal, irrespective of the message coming out. So it's an intriguing one for me. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what happens. And I want your take. I want your thoughts. And I want your feelings. On the side of that, more news breaking this afternoon from a number of outlets across social media, that some from yesterday, some reaching across into today, that Manchester United are closing in on a deal for Frankie de Jong. That Man United's move for Frankie de Jong is close. There's a lot more media outlets starting to pull on this notion that the deal is closer than ever. The Manchester Evening News with an article and a headline this afternoon that, Frankie de Jong has already told Erik Ten Hag about how he can improve Manchester United in the future. So this seems to kind of be picking up pace very, very quickly indeed. And I think Monday is going to be an interesting day. Although it's bank holiday, when the season ends, and I don't just mean for Man United, I think there's going to be a few big breaking pieces of news over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday relating to a lot of these big clubs. I think the work's already in the motions. I think a lot of the media outlets are saving themselves because Monday might have a big news story. If Liverpool win the league or if Arsenal make the Champions League, Monday's news cycle's fixed. If that doesn't happen and City win the league and Spurs go through, which is what's expected, Monday and Tuesday and most of Wednesday will be dominated by big transfer stories. Wednesday afternoon going into Thursday is going to be the build-up to the Champions League final. This is fairly atypical of the media. So don't be surprised if you see some smaller outlets today, tomorrow morning, maybe a bit of Sunday, start to release things about deals progressing, deals moving along, deals being more advanced. And then for the quote-unquote bigger boys, the tier ones, to come along on the Monday and Tuesday and start firming up these ideas. Just a thought. Just a thought on this from my point of view. I hope, by the way, I hope the Frankie de Jong news is true. I hope the Frankie de Jong news is true. I hope this deal is getting close. The more I think about it, the price is now 55 million is starting to be spoken about. The fact that Man United are talking to Barcelona, and I'll stand by my thoughts on this. 95% of transfers, they get the player to commit first, then they negotiate with the football club. Maybe Man United are going about it differently, but that would be as rare as rocking horse doo-doo. It really would. Now, I want to get your thoughts and I want to get your feelings. Man like Josh Waring in the house here says, if we get Frankie de Jong, who is motivated, we will get a better version than he was at Ajax. That chip on the shoulder is a massive motivator for world-class players. He's already gained more followers. I think it is, and I think Frankie de Jong wants to. One thing we know is true. It's been very well reported. He wants to play again for Erik ten Hag. That isn't the issue. It's the overarching project. I still think he has a desire to stay at Barcelona. But I keep saying this to people. David Beckham didn't want to leave Manchester United, but he did because the club decided to sell him. This has happened in the history of football where clubs say we're cashing in. Clubs say we are going to sell. That doesn't mean the player moving on doesn't do a good job. It doesn't mean the player moving on doesn't deliver. As long as they are bought into the footballing ideas at the football club, it's okay. But I know what people are getting. PTSD. We've signed players before that didn't want to join. Alexis Sanchez is going to go in the same direction. I'm not convinced or sure right now that is the case. Zaza, big up to yourself as well, my friend. Hope you are good. Adrian here says, sources close to Chelsea's takeover bid say they're growing belief that they will get close to a marquee signing that is required for the team, and that player seems to be Declan Rice. Yeah, I spoke about Declan Rice I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I spoke about Declan Rice to Chelsea yesterday, and everyone's going, where's the links? There's the links. Knew it was coming. They're going for Declan Rice. Rice, baby. Trust me. Now, Saliba. I want to speak about Saliba. What are we saying? Do you think he'll stay at Marseille? Do people actually see him staying at Marseille? How many of you see that? How many of you think that's conceivable? How many of you think that is going to happen? I need to know. I need to know now. Comment here says, Saliba is better than White and Gabriel. And that may very well be the case. I saw a story shared the other day by Jess, and she put this story out talking about Gabriel maybe leaving. I think Juve circling. And it was met with, absolutely not. Now, listen, I agree with building stronger squads. This strikes me as difficult. There's something about this love triangle of White, Gabriel, and Saliba. For me, something's got to give. Something's got to give. I don't see all three spending more than 1 year at Arsenal together. I really don't. None are really injury prone, are they? They're all going to want to play regularly. Maybe he's going to try and do a bit of a Klopp where he rotates in and out the second centre-back. Maybe. But even then, with Klopp doing that, I think by the middle of next season, Konate is going to have that position down, and he'll slowly phase Matip out. That's an older guy who, by the way, wanted to leave a year ago, or was talking about leaving a year ago. That's an older guy being phased out, not 3 young bucks. 3 young guys looking to progress their careers. Feels different to me. De Jong, Timber, Tchouameni, and Kunku. What do you think? Listen, Listen to that. I mean, that would be very good. What would that cost you? De Jong's. What's the math on that? Let me get my calculator out now. I'm gonna get my calculator out like I'm back in my old job trying to work this out, right? So Frankie de Jong is let's just say Frankie de Jong's 60 million. Let's round it up to the most common number that's been used. 60 mil. Timber, we've read 25 mil. Tchouaméni, I've read 70 mil. And Kunku, I've read 65, 70. I can put 70 in. That's 225 million. Hey, we've got 120 base. Could you raise 100 million elsewhere in sales? Maybe. Listen, if Man United pulled off those 4 signings, I think even the most level-headed Red, who's trying not to get carried away, would probably get a little bit carried away. Josh here says Saliba would rather play Champions League football with Marseille next season. That's a really good point, Josh. A very simplistic point. I'm happy at Marseille. I'm happy in France. I'm enjoying my football. I don't want to be back in London. Champions League football here. I mean, it could just be as simplistic as that. It may not be a complex power play. You know, it could be real simple. I think Saliba's situation sums up Arsenal as a club, is what John says. I want you to expand on that, John. What do you mean? What do you mean? We have a fan channel reaction video coming out later. Focus on that is on Arsenal and Mikel Arteta and everything else. So that's either out later today or tomorrow. Just got to wait for the release date. We did an interview with content creator and presenter Timsy, and just want to, I don't know when that's being released. Is waiting for the embargo to go through. So we're releasing that later. Money talks and people walk. I hear that Everton have stepped up on offer for Jay Lings. Would love that. But I think about it like this. Dean Henderson, 30 mil we're reading. Lingard, obviously, we're not going to get any money for him. He's gone. But 30 mil towards that extra 100 mil we need is there. Yeah, I reckon you'll pick up 20 mil for AWB. Sell a little bit of Maguire in there as well. Get rid of him. Pick up 20 mil. Suddenly you're on 70. And maybe the club will stretch to a bit more. Maybe. But those, I don't see a sign of those 4 names, by the way. Let me just drag myself back in. Terry, would you have Gomez to replace Harry? Do you mean Joe Gomez? Joe Gomez would never be a move from Liverpool to Man United. So in terms of overall quality, no, I'd want better, if I'm being absolutely honest, but the deal wouldn't happen anyway. Man like Joshua Jack here says, in fairness, I think Ten Hag may have had his biggest budget this summer based off the sales, and is what we doing correctly with the money that matters. You're absolutely right. I don't care if we spend 100 million or 200 million, as long as the players are what the manager wants and needs for his system. That's what we need. You know, a couple of free transfers in there as well. You know, maybe an Eriksen, maybe a Kamara if the deal doesn't get done with Ati. Who knows? Terry, what happened to Hot Takes? Hot Takes back next week. Don't you worry yourselves about that. It will be back on the Terrace. There really isn't much to preview this weekend. And I just thought it would be... I know some people have done preview shows this weekend. I just kind of felt like it was a bit pointless, if I'm being honest. Terry, thoughts on Julian Alvarez? I don't have too many thoughts. Never seen him play. Did a bit of research during January. Looks talented. Looks like he's got a very high ceiling in terms of his ability. Excited to see him play in the Premier League. Joe Gomez would be your best centre-back ever. Duncan Edwards, Nobby Stiles, Pallister, Bruce. Just to name a few. You know, Yap Stam, Rio Ferdinand, Vidic. Not our best ever, I can assure y'all of that. We've got a very special 12th man, though, on the Terrace next week, actually. We've got a Real Madrid fan coming in, and none other than Grizz Khan representing Liverpool on the Football Terrace for the 12th man. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that. Okay, interest. Some of your comments make no sense. Is Ronaldo staying? We hear so. We hear it's a yes. I'm going to share the link to call in, though, people. I want you to come on and have your say in relation to these 2 transfer stories. I want to hear from you. I want to get your thoughts and I want to get your feelings, especially Gooners. I want to hear from you about this Saliba news. What's your take on it? I've seen people on Twitter very much like, no, this is definitely not going to happen. clickbait by the media. Obviously, this has come from French media that's come over here. But what are you saying? What are you saying? There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. The comment here from someone online goes, "I'm sorry, but you're the article that you just mentioned in your stream, if you bother to read it, does not suggest that De Jong has spoken to Ten Hag at all." Okay, cool. I didn't read the article. I just said I read a headline. As I said, the media is picking up on things. All good, my guy. No need to stress, is what I'd say. Come on and have your say. We're speaking about the rumors. That is what it is we do here at the Football Terrace, just like every other YouTube channel in the world. But there we go. Some more replies here. Okay. Read and learn. Marseille is banned. How can he stay? He's returning to Arsenal. That's a great point. But that isn't what they're saying, though, is it? They're not saying that he's going to stay at Marseille. The headline is that he wants to stay at Marseille. Like, think about that still. So if you're a gooner, think about it still. If he wants to stay at Marseille, do you want him back at Arsenal? That's the question that I would pose to you, my dear friend. That's what I would put out there. If you don't think he's saying he's coming back, come on the show, tweet, have your say. That's the point of this. Don't worry about the headlines. Have your say. That's what I'm saying, my friend. We've got Pav to come on. We've got YUFC. KJ's backstage as well, coming on to have their say soon as well. Any Timber news? This morning that was out, my friend. Check out the Football Terrace for all our latest videos. Terry, why would United be talking to Barcelona for 10 days about De Jong if he didn't want to join? Listen, I agree with you, Harrison. That's why I remain optimistic about the deal. Not giddy, not overly excited, not guaranteeing anything. The fact that United are talking to him, the fact that all the tier ones said there was talks and conversations. It all varies on what degree, but they all confirm the news is true. United are still doing that. I remember these talks again. They're not. People often think these transfer talks are like all day, every day for 10 days. It don't really work like that. They crack on with things. They think about it. They come back a few days later, like any kind of business negotiation. Plus, the season's still going on. Players are going to go away soon and have little breaks and little holidays. Things will start picking up from next week with a bit more pace, I would suggest. But yeah, good point there, Harrison. Really, really good point. I wish Saliba will come back, but I won't be surprised if he stays. I mean, people are saying that he can't stay. I don't know the rules around that. I haven't, read those things there. But, I mean, the article I read here about it, that I read, didn't mention anything to do with that at all. But we'll see. Are they banned? So Google it. I mean, Marseille. When you say banned, you mean transfer ban? I'm just going to write Marseille banned. Okay. Marseille received a 1-year transfer ban over the gay dispute with Watford. Let's have a little. Oh, an error has occurred. Why is that? Let me go back. It says reportedly facing a ban on the 15th of November. Marseille's ban. Okay, here we go. So from the BBC, Marseille fans have been banned from attending a game. No, it's not that. Transfer ban announced will affect Arsenal. Okay. So Olympique de Marseille have been hit with a transfer ban which could affect the future of a few Arsenal players. L'Equipe report that Marseille received a 2-window ban in relation to the Papagayan, in 2020. So it hasn't been suspended or anything. Okay, I'm just reading that now. Fair enough. Cool. Then they can't do it. However, if the player don't want to be there, that's still the question that I would say. But maybe someone's got a more updated article. Maybe they've appealed it. Maybe it's been suspended. That's happened to quite a few teams that have managed to get it suspended or reduced. But we'll see. There we go. Make sure you're smashing that like button, people. Let's get that done. If they are banned, then how did they sign Guendouzi? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read it in enough detail. I've only just heard that. It's a bit of news that I didn't really realize. But there we go. Saliba is doing well in France. He better stay there, is what strongest civilian has got to say. Pav's coming on the show first to have his say with us. Pav, what are you saying, my friend?
I'm good, man. Can you hear me?
I can. What do you want to say?
Yeah, on De Jong, I super chatted you the day that the news broke about Frankie de Jong, where the geezer said that we're 95% chance of signing him, but I said that I don't. I basically said the club's dusted. I said I don't think we can do a deal like that. But obviously, stories are changing on a daily basis with that guy. Apparently, don't want to join, or Barca don't want to sell him if they can sell other people. But I wouldn't mind them at United, but I don't believe that this club can do a deal like that anymore because I think we fell off so far because of the previous regime that I think we're a bit of a laughing stock when it comes to transfers and players. We've had way too many players who are just constantly leaving, not achieving anything at this club. And I think like there is a doubt with players like Frankie de Jong who are probably sitting there thinking, I'm 25, I've got 5 years. Do I want to waste them 5 years at going to United? Like you see what's happened with Pogba. Players like him who've come back to us, wasted 6 years, and now they're leaving. But basically, at the end of their like careers, 29, hitting 30. Mate, I don't know if we can pull a Frankie De Jong like Ten Hag's. He's a top manager, and he's got plenty of time to improve. But us trying to pull players like Frankie, I don't know if we can do it anymore. I'd be more leaning towards the club maybe going for Calvin Phillips, and I think we're looking at Leeds on Sunday if they get relegated, because I've just seen that Mike McGrath, his name, saying that we're interested in Rafinha as well. So I think we're looking to see if they get relegated, maybe we could try and get those two on a cheap, or we could be using that Rafinha as a leverage to maybe try and get Barca, because I know Barca want them. They've like talked with his camp. Maybe we could just be saying to them, look, we'll hold off of Rafinha, we'll back out of that deal, give us Frankie. But yeah, I don't know, man. I still don't trust with what's going on with the club. I know like certain people have left. Matt Judge is I heard that he's on his notice period for another 2 months, but I still don't trust people at that club. If I'm being honest,
I would say this for your own health. I would say remain skeptical, but don't be as stressy as you're being. In terms of, I'm reading all these stories, as you say. I think we are in negotiations. I think there's a chance we can pull a Frankie de Jong, but do I have the same kind of confidence about this deal as I did about Sancho last summer? No. About how I did about Paul Pogba back in 2016. No, I don't. I don't have the same level of confidence that we can do it, as an example. And if there comes a point where you ask Frankie de Jong once and twice and he keeps saying no, move on to that next transfer. The reason why I'm happy with the fact that we spend some time in these last 10 days or so trying to get it done. But, if we go another couple of weeks and you can't get to a complete agreement with everybody, move on to another target. Those little moments will be when I'm starting to see differences in this football club. If we come to like August and we're still chasing De Jong, then I'll be frustrated because the eye is not on the prize, But listen, I totally get your skepticism. I think all Man United fans should have it. Any Man United fan that's sitting there relaxed like this is all going to go swimmingly.
Yeah, that's the thing. I agree with you there. As a club now, we shouldn't be spending so long on a deal like we have previously. It's better to just move on to the next target rather than spending like 6 to 8 weeks on a deal. If someone doesn't want to come or the other club's just holding out for too much, just move on. Like, I know we're linked to Lema as well, so maybe look at him, Calvin Phillips, Neves is there, Basuma, but I still think people won't go for Basuma until his investigation
yeah. No one's gonna lump the money on that. If you've got to look at how much money Man United still got to pay Greenwood, no one's gonna do a 4 or 5 year deal and then it goes pear-shaped.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're stuck paying someone 80-100 grand a week for 5 years while they're at Her Majesty's pleasure or something. I'm not suggesting for a second that Yves Basuma's guilty, but none of us know anything about it. So yeah, it'll be a big risk, no doubt. Pav, great call, my friend. Thanks for coming on and having your say, mate.
Man.
Top man. Thank you. Please make sure that like button is being smashed. Lots of comments coming in from people over on Twitter as well. Good to hear from you guys. Almost there. Some people are absolutely mental. Hang on, let me just. Some of the people's comments make me absolutely die. Let's have a little look here. Can't spend all transfer windows chasing these hopeless targets. Need to scout way better. Yeah, it's not even scouting better. It's better practices. You know, it's like this Arsenal situation. If William Saliba really doesn't want to come back, it doesn't matter whether Marseille can sign players or not. People are, again, they're focusing on the low-hanging fruit. They've got a transfer ban. It can't happen. Come back. Do Arsenal fans really want a player at their club who doesn't want to be there? That would be the question that I would ask. You know, that would be the question I'd ask. But we're going to have a Guna coming on, then KJ. Gunner Pitchside is coming on now to have you say, big Arsenal fan. What you saying, mate?
Hello, Terry. Can you hear me?
Yes, mate. What's on your mind about this Saliba thing? What do you want to say?
Well, you know what? I got a bit suspicious this morning, right? So I got my Arsenal news up, and it said Arsenal interested in Barcelona defender that Xavi doesn't want anymore. Ex-World Cup winner. I'm thinking, but something's ringing in my head. What's going on with Saliba? I thought he was coming back. We don't need another centre back. We've already got one. And then explosion. Saliba doesn't want to come back. Blah, 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 blah. But Arteta sat there 6 months ago and said he's coming back to the club. He signed a 5-year deal in 2019. He's an Arsenal fan. And when his first time ever at a match, he sat not in the dugout, he sat in with the fans. That's how much he loves the club. So for me to say that he doesn't want to come back, something's not right. It's Arteta, mate. I just don't think he likes him, mate. And I'll tell you what, if anyone wants to buy him, they're going to have to get their peas out, mate, because he is worth a lot of money. Young French Player of the Year, captain of the under-21s. He's just been promoted to the full French national squad for the World Cup. He is like, it'd be our Virgil van Dijk. Do you know what I mean? He's 10 times better than White and Gabriel. I've seen him play, mate. He's brilliant. I'm gutted, mate. It just sums up the end of this Arsenal season. It's just.
And look, I mean, it's coming from a credible source. You know, our RMC Sport and give me French news now. Like RMC Sport, 1.7 million followers, verified outlet. Very popular. They're not making this up. And I know people are saying that there is a transfer ban. What is kind of weird, while everyone's been talking, I've gone on 4 or 5 different articles on the French websites. None of them have mentioned this transfer ban. I literally found one on the BBC from back in January.
I did hear something about a transfer ban.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that.
But that was a while back. Yeah.
The French outlets are not talking about it. Maybe it's been suspended and hasn't been reported by the mainstream. I don't know. But either way, if I'm a good,
they got Guendouzi off us. They got Guendouzi, so the ban mustn't exist.
That's because there would have been an obligation to buy that was in place before the ban. Therefore, it can be like Kovacic at Chelsea. It can be activated. But I think for me, the biggest thing isn't whether he goes to Marseille or not. It's why is he thinking about leaving? Mate, thanks for coming on and having your say. I appreciate
it's Arteta, mate. It's Arteta.
You think it's Arteta? Listen, it's a fair opinion. We'll speak again soon, brother. All the best, my friend. Thank you. How many Gooners agree with Gunner Pitchside? Do you think Saliba's issue is Arteta? Never kicked a ball, never played a game. Was that to... I look at it this way. Before I bring KJ, I'm going to say this. If he comes back to Arsenal and turns into one of the best centre-backs in the league, the 2-year plus loan deal is a masterstroke. Game time experience, grew in age, grew in stature, ready. If he never kicks a ball for Arsenal again and goes off elsewhere, though, and becomes an absolute sensation, it's a big L from Arteta. There's a third option, though, which no one ever speaks about. If he comes back to Arsenal and is awful, and it's like, I kind of get why Arteta didn't want to play him anymore. There's three outcomes with it, essentially. And the fact that it doesn't really impact my club, I'm very excited to see. Nav here says, let's be real. Who wants to actually play for Arsenal under Arteta? I'd rather be in the Championship personally, but I'd use Arsenal to get a bigger move. Here we go. So Someone here says Marseille immediately protested to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which suspended the sanctions imposed, waiting for an appeal. So they can sign him. Look, this is my point. I didn't know about the suspension. I didn't read that. I never claimed to be an encyclopedia of football news. The fact that all the major French outlets haven't mentioned the ban kind of told. That's why I didn't think about it. Blake, I wish I could copy and paste off here and stick it and reply to this guy's tweet. But there we go. I'm going to bring KJ out now to have you say, keep the super chats coming. Any questions you've got as well, hit the like and share button. KJ, how's it going, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. Yo, United news is left, right, and center. You see bare people leaving. Apparently, we linked to everyone. The transfer season has well and truly started. And the maddest thing is, the season ain't even done. We still have one game left, and yet we're still out here getting transfer rumors. I love it. This summer for United is going to be the most intriguing one, I think, since Fergie left. I think the only one that can come close is LVG's first summer, where we just bought a bare man. Like, I feel we come close to that. So I do feel like we're getting 5 or 6 players, because we've got 10 leaving. We can't just fill them all with like youth players in that spot. Like, we have to buy people. So like I believe we'll get 5 to 6. And if we don't, then that's a worrying sign for me. But in terms of who we're linked to, Frankie de Jong, wonderful player, brilliant footballer. I don't know if we can get the deal done. And not because I'm kind of like Pav, but not to the same extent. I feel like we could get it done, but I don't know if Barcelona will allow him to go. I think it's more going to be on Barca's side that he won't leave in the end. Like, there's other players that they're looking at selling. We've been offered Dest, who's the right back, who's also worked under Ten Hag before. Is that something that we do with Aaron Wan-Bissaka leaving? Is like a Dest and someone else leaving enough for the understay? That might be enough. I'm not too sure. So I don't see us getting it done. And also, I have a slight concern with de Jong. I don't know. I can see him coming to the Premier getting bullied. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, technically, a brilliant footballer. Is he physically ready for the Premier League? Yeah, I don't know. Like, Donny came over, technically brilliant footballer. He been looking lightweight for 2 years now. You know what I mean? And if he comes into the Man United midfield, I'm happy for him, and I'm happy to see it. But I will have my concerns of what kind of strength and physicality will we have in that midfield if it's de Jong and Donny and someone else. Like, we still need that. I know people don't like to hear passion and power and pace and all that and strength and physicality, but it's still needed in a Premier League midfield. It's just the way it is. So hopefully we get the balance right. I do not want Nunes, Terry.
Look, Darwin Nunes, there's something about him I don't quite like. As an example, something off with that. We do need more power in that middle. And I get this feeling, I mean, a lot of Gooners pointed it out last week, and I kind of felt it was a little bit bitter, but Frankie de Jong isn't a good signing if you're not buying a good quality, powerful holding midfield player. It's right and it's wrong at the same time. It doesn't make Frankie de Jong less of a player. It doesn't help us balance our team. It doesn't address holes in our squad. I think there's this hope and praying within a lot of our rivals that if you do sign Frankie de Jong, that's the budget gone. No, you can't sign no one else. Do you know what I mean? Let's just see what Lee Catamol's doing. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like, I look at Frankie de Jong as being a good deal. I believe it's on. I believe that it's active. And it's funny, really, because I can't even pronounce her name. I think it's pronounced Corella della Sport. They're the ones who very late yesterday reported that the deal is closing in and the deal is looking like it's moving forward quickly. They're an interesting outlet because they got a number of deals right first last summer. They were the outlet that put out the claim that Ronaldo was leaving Juve, only for a friend of Ronaldo's who works on the show, Tic Tac, Tic Tac, Tic Tac, who works on that show. They came out like an hour and a half later and debunked it and said he isn't leaving. What are you talking about? It's nonsense. Only for Ronaldo to actually leave. This outlet also said that Inter Milan will sell Lukaku. Everyone said nonsense because X, Y, and Z tier 1 said he isn't. So they're the ones that are reporting this. And for me, whenever, again, you know what I'm like. I'm not believing it as in it's going to happen, but I'm putting the news out there, and I put it out there and I document it, and we put it on the screens on the terrace, and I save it. And I save all the articles, all these things in chronological order in files, so that if it does happen in like 3 or 4 days, it's announced. I want that outlet and that journalist to get the credit. I don't want the credit to go some tier one that's waited until the last moment to go, oh, guess what? It's happening. I've just found out. No, we were all told 3 or 4 days ago. You just didn't want to take the risk about tweeting about it in case it backfires, because all transfers can backfire at any given moment. They really can. We're going to go to some super chats in a minute. I wanted to get your opinions, though, on Saliba as well, and this news that he wants to stay in Marseille. I've read 3 articles now, by the way, on the big one here from on Get French Football News. The appeal was made by the sports to arbitration. There's no date for the appeal. So Marseille are free as it stands right now to sign players in the summer. But this continual news that Saliba doesn't want to come back and he wants to stay. Like, what's your take on it?
Good. He's doing the right thing. He's a young player who's analysed his career and has seen that, for whatever reason, Arsenal bought me and not played me at all. He's not made a single appearance in 2 seasons. He's been on loan twice, and both those loans has shown that, I'm good enough to play first team football. So Saliba's doing the right thing. They bought in Gabriel, then they bought in Ben White and Tomiyasu, who can also play centre-back. If I'm Willie Saliba, I'm like, wait, why are you buying all these young men? If they bought older players, I'd understand. Like, okay, they're getting older, I'll just fit in. But you bring in all these younger players who are around the same age as me, sound of the same ability as me, maybe the ceiling's a bit lower. Why are they the ones getting the game time and you're allowing me to go on loan? Why can't I never break into the first team when I'm showing you time and time again that I'm good enough? He just won Young Player of the Year for League On. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he'll probably be in Team of the Season as well when that comes out. So I think he's doing the right thing. He's analysing his situation. He believes in himself. And what's the point of going back to Arsenal to compete with 2-3 other players when you, at your age, can be a mainstay in a different team in a similar position anyway? So I think he's personally doing the right thing. If he ends up staying at Arsenal, then I feel like he must have been given some massive guarantees that he will start every week, like almost, especially with the Europa League coming up as well. But otherwise, I feel like he's doing the right thing. He needs to go out and play football. Arsenal haven't given him that in 2 years. Why should he stay?
Yeah. Listen, I very much agree with that in relation to the fact that it's one of those really difficult things that I look at and think to myself that as a young player, you want people to put faith in you. And I've spoken about transfers like this for many, many years, and people always kind of discount these soft facts. Sometimes a manager, a club showing you love, backing you, endears you to them more. We're like that with work sometimes. That, you know what, I could take that job. It might even pay a little bit more money, but I really am supported here. Good work-life balance, good people. Now, if you need the money, you go. Footballers, they want money, but from his point of view, it might be like, I'm on good money, especially that he's on loan. He's still getting his Arsenal money. It could almost be a case of if I go back to an environment I'm not happy in, not comfortable in, it messes with me. You know, maybe he feels that if I stay at Marseille, I can get that move to another, make my money up by getting a move to a bigger club elsewhere at some point, you know, and everything else. Still quite a lot of gooners, by the way, tweeting me saying that Benny Blanco here says, pretty sure the process is that if they are appealing, the initial ban stands until the outcome. The opposite, I believe, is what I'm saying to you. According to the French media outlets, that the ban is expected. They're expected to allow to play players until they get something set. Generally, and I don't know if this works. It works this way in criminal law, and other countries are different. We remember actually in Greece, Harry Maguire was convicted, but when you appeal it in Greece, you instantly become innocent again until your appeal date. So it's almost like maybe this is how the French rules work. Maybe it's a case of, maybe it's that way around. Once you appeal something, you're instantly free of its punishment until you have your appeal. Which in some, again, I think even in most cases, unless you're a serious offender in real criminal law, like you're danger to society, that's how most of those things tend to be. I think maybe, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what the media outlets are saying, my friend. So no, I don't believe that's the case. We've got some super chats here that have come through. I was going to get Gio one. I missed Gio.
Oh, I missed Gio, man. He's about to win the league as well. I'm so happy for him.
Glazers moving in the right direction. What's your take on that? Do you feel like they are, KJ?
No, bro. No. They are not moving in the right direction. John Murtaugh, Ralph, Ten Hag are moving in the right direction. I don't care what anyone says. Just because they've been like, we've got no option now to go this way. I'm not giving them credit until I see them consistently make the right decisions over a 2, 3, 4 year period of when we need direction and leadership and we need something extra to help us like get to the next level. That's when I say they are moving in the right direction. Right now, we've seen it before. It's a veil. We've already seen the veil's been pulled over our eyes so many times before. We back the manager for one season. The next season, we pull away a bit. And then the third season, we just completely pull the rug underneath their feet. And then it'll just all fall apart. Until I see consistent backing of the club, not just managers or players, backing of Manchester United, they are moving in no direction whatsoever, and they're still pagans to me.
I hear you on that completely. How would you want to come back if the effing so-called manager doesn't like the kid? I bet you if he comes back, he is going to bench him. And Abs, I think a lot of Gooners agree with you. I think a lot of people blame Mikel Arteta, but like I said, and it's not to overtly defend Mikel Arteta, it's to try and be as balanced as possible. He's either good enough for Arsenal, but Arteta don't like him, or he's not. It's a simple. Or sorry, no, that's not true. He's either good enough for Arsenal and Arteta don't like him. He's either good enough for Arsenal, but Arteta thinks he needs this time away to get to that point, or he's awful for Arsenal. It's one of those three things, isn't it? If there's any club to use for a big move, it's Arsenal. 2 to 3 years wait for a big move. That's what you'll do. No loyalty. They are with their board anyway, is what Nav believes. Bave says the physicality of a player or lacking thereof doesn't make or break a player. Bernardo Silva is one of the best midfielders in the league, and he's weak.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying like he will be a terrible footballer because he's not as physical as the Premier League footballer. I'm just saying like that is just a concern that I have for him in the Prem. That's all it is. I
don't think it's about how strong you are. It's about the fight you have. So often it's not because, remember, like as a general rule, you don't get players like Virgil van Dijk kicking little players around the pitch and sending them 6 foot in the air with slide tackles anymore. Football, you get sent off. No one does those kind of tackles anymore. But it is physical. It is grueling. It is fast paced. It's whether you've got the fight in you to motor on through that. And you listen to like the interviews that Kai Havertz and Werner and Donny have given in the last few years. They go, it's just different to like other places. You don't need to be a 6'4", built like a brick shithouse giant to cope with the Premier League. No one's ever made that claim. It's about how you handle the speed, the physicality of the league, not how strong you are, in my view. And again, just, it's nothing to do with the weather. Whoever Arsenal signs at centre-back will have to compete. That's top-flight football. Saliba should want to come back and compete, but I do empathise with his situation. Do you know what I'd say on that as well? That's also a great point. This could just be the other way, Gooners. It might not be Arteta's fault. It could be the player doesn't have the get up and go, the fight to want to fight for a place in the team. Therefore, why would you want him? Like, think about it. Look, why would you want a player like that? I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't want a player at my club that doesn't want to be there, like, or doesn't have the minerals to fight. That's my view anyway. But good takes there. Thank you for them super chats. Gio's back with us, an AC Milan fan. So I really want to get his take on this. Viewers, make sure you've smashed that like button. Let's get this past 350 while we're live on the air. Everyone watching over on Twitter, thank you. Even to the sarcastic commenters. I would have the people that go, I don't know what you do, Terry, but you're following me. So thank you. You help my life. You help make my life great, etc. We're going to get Gio on that. Man's even got his AC Milan shirt on as well, with it looks like it's got the England badge on it. But there we go. We
It's
like
a tradition. It's a traditional one. Traditional.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Right, let's get man on to have his say. Let's do this. Gio, welcome back to the show, my friend. What do you want to say?
Hey Terry, this is actually from Classic Football. They did like a Serie A kind of thing. So now I just wanted to speak to KJ. I seen you tweeting about my goalkeeper, KJ. Hands off, okay?
Bring me United, Big Mike.
Manchester United ain't got that drip, okay? He's fly, he drip, and he's like the cat, man. And hopefully you guys get back on track, man, because you know the football world needs to heal itself. We're on the back up now. You guys got Ten Hag, so hopefully everything goes well.
As an AC Milan fan who's like been through like the trenches of the last like 10 years, and you're finally, for you guys, back at the top of the table and looking like you're going to win the league this weekend, how can Man United fans what advice would you give Man United fans to get through this period of waiting?
That alcohol budget gotta be at an all-time high. And also, I want to speak about the Saliba. I mean,
yeah,
he's a hot property. Real Madrid want him. You know, Maldini wants him. You know, when Maldini makes that phone call, you know, a lot of players are willing to come. So, you know, Lord Divock, and I just wanted to speak on the Terrace, and I would just want to beg Southgate. Tomori is the best English center back by a landslide. If you don't call him, you're not going to do right in England. We'll never win anything. No Euros, no World Cup. Come on. Bring Tomori. He deserves it. He's better than Ligt. He hits the Serie A run. That's all I got to say. Thank you for allowing me, Terry. And hopefully
never a problem. Never a problem. Absolutely. By the way, the England badge on the shirt, is that got a connection to England at all?
Yes, Kilpin, the founder of AC Milan, he was English.
Just amazing about that. I think I want to say Atletico Bilbao was also invented by an Englishman who was from Sunderland. That's why they play in red and white stripes. It's crazy. That's what I love about when you learn history, you learn new things. It's like we're all kind of interconnected in many, many ways. So the greatest Italian team of all time is basically English. I'm going to take that one as a win, mate. I'm taking that as a win. That's 7 Champions League that English club has got. It's amazing. So no, I'm only joking, my friend. Thank you for coming on, my guy, and having your say. We'll speak again soon, Gio. Top man.
Right,
Thank you. It must be amazing, KJ. Like if you're a fan of AC Milan, to the way they must be feeling right now, the way they must just everything. England colonizing. I don't think England were colonizing Italy in 1899. Maybe my history isn't that great. I don't know what we were doing in those days. I'm not sure. But it actually says here, as it was the Milan Football and Cricket Club. So man started a cricket club in Italy, you know, a cricket club.
Yeah, that's mad. But to answer your question, it must feel so nice. It must feel so nice, like, because they've been through some struggles, boy. Like, if we think as United fans we've been through it, AC Milan fans have definitely been through it. When they lost Zlatan and Thiago Silva to PSG, from that moment it's been one flipping hell of a ride. But I'm glad they're back up there and they're doing well and they're looking about to win the league. They are literally, if I had my chance, I would take Big Mike Mannion from AC Milan. I would take Tomori from AC Milan. Bring him back to England. United, get on that. Teo Hernandez is one of the best left backs in the world. I'll take him too. And you know what? If Kessie wasn't already agreed to go to flipping Barcelona, I would take Kessie as well. They've got a really good team. And I'm very happy for them. And hopefully one day we can sit there and be like, we had an AC Milan moment and we got back to the top with a really good team. But I don't know how long that's going to take.
Mate, listen, and I agree. Look, I'm loving the ruthlessness of Ten Hag. You know, the amount of players. I love the fact that it's funny, really, because I am gonna have a pop here at Danny Devil in the Details, who's become very negative recently. I find him very negative on socials. Like, I'm a bit like, I said negative. I'm someone that when it comes to the transfer stories and stuff, I kind of like them to cook for a bit and for people to get excited, have their opinion. I kind of don't like that. No, don't believe it. That bothers me.
Now, Danny is just like Danny's basically Batman, and all he does is always like, is there another meaning behind all of it? Oh,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, no, I get that, but the point is that he kind of said, like, the other day he was sort of saying, like, how could Ten Hag have been working on deals already, but only now just having their first meeting? And I'm like, that's because the interpretation of meeting is varied. You know, a phone call can be a meeting, a Zoom call can be a meeting. This just might be, someone might have just said to a particular journalist, they're having their first face-to-face meeting together, all in the same room this week, and then it's reported as the first meeting, but it doesn't mean it's the first conversation. But yeah, like you look at it, like the way he's kind of basically been around. He's been in England since Wednesday, and he's been sort of doing his job since Monday, unofficially, of course. And he's already told, and I've heard, I read today that, you know, already told AWB as an example, and a number of other players, you're not part of the plans, you're moving on. I love that ruthlessness. What we've done with a few other managers, which in hindsight was wrong. And it's, again, this is education for everybody, including myself. When LVG came in and Jose came in, it was like, oh, everyone's going to get a chance to impress me. Ten Hag's already doing something different to all the other managers. No one's getting in time to impress him that he doesn't think's good enough already. It's not like I'm going to give AWB all summer in pre-season to prove to me he's good enough, and then we're going to panic around for the last 2 weeks of the transfer window when we try and sell him and bring someone else in. It's, I know he's not good enough. He goes now. And it's a different approach to the last two managers that came in at the beginning of a summer, you know.
If you read the reports of like how we came to the conclusion of picking Ten Hag, it says like he came and with the interviews, boom, dossier on the next 2, 3, 4 or however long years of what he wants to do with Man United. Look, he knows what he wants, and that's just nice to see. Like, as much as I appreciate AWB for his qualities, the fact that he's come in and said, nope, I know you're not going to suit my team, you're going. The fact that he's got Brandon William, who's out on loan, who wants to play for Man United, and he's just saying, yo, listen, I know that you're not going to fit. Like, it's best you go somewhere else. It's refreshing, and hopefully this is, I hate hearing this word, but hopefully this is the rebuild that we've been promised. You know what I mean? Hopefully this is the rebuild that actually is rebuilding something, not just like, you know, you got you in your house, you could either get the handyman who can just do a little quick fix and be like, yeah, it's done. Or you get the proper architect. That's what I'm hoping.
But what's my example? What have I always said Man United have the Glazers treat people? What television character have I compared them to? From EastEnders. Cat Slater. However, let me make this make sense. Since Cat Slater a year ago got with Phil Mitchell, she ain't like that no more. She got with the right man who I think, because he's so strong and powerful and alpha, it's like, no, I can't treat him like that. She's no longer with a beta. Like, Alfie Moon was a beta. She's now with an alpha. Maybe if we bring the right people in, the Glazers may change their ways. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe by Christmas, Cat Slater is bunking up with someone else. I don't know. But let's see what happens. Terry said before Arteta is a disgrace if leaves.
If Saliba leaves, if Arteta leaves,
I don't know who I said is a disgrace. If Arteta, I don't know. I need you to make that make more sense to me. What have I said? I don't know what I've said. I say a lot of things. You need to remind me a little more specifically. Terry, what do you guys say about the letter Burnley sent to the Premier League in regards to Everton's FFP?
All right, tell them to take that up with their friend Boris, innit? Like, Burnley, it's your time to get out of here, bruv. Like, just accept it. All I need is a dirty Leeds draw and a Burnley loss on the final day, and I'm eating good. You know what I mean? I'm eating good.
Yeah.
Like,
listen,
get out of here, man.
Gio, thank you for signing up and becoming a member of the Football Terrace. It means a great deal to us. One of our first team members. Thank you very much indeed.
We've got an interesting caller, by the way, coming up next, Terry.
Yeah, I've seen his name.
Yeah, but his message, what he wants to talk about, is interesting as well.
I just clicked. I know who it is now. Everyone was asking about him the other day. Wow. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an exciting call. Eye Test is back on the Football Terrace. Welcome back, Eye Test. What do you want to say? I've heard you've got something very interesting to say.
Yeah, I wanna talk about Ten Hag. Because,
okay.
You see, I'm confused about the United fans. Yeah, I want to expose the United fans because now Ten Hag is permanent. Now Ten Hag's been signed by Man United. Yeah, I'm not hearing these expectations of we need to win the league, we need to win Champions League. Yeah, I'm not hearing these expectations, but a lot of United fans are happy. However, when Oli was in charge with the same exact set of players, they were saying he needs to win the league. The Oli outers were saying he needs to win the league with the players.
Yep. Why do you think that was, though? Why did I tell you they were doing it the whole time?
I think his connection might have gone.
Like, Ali, the reason that certain Oli outers were doing that the whole time is they were going to continue to do this to Oli. They would have always set the expectations beyond his grasp. Now, Ten Hag comes in and he's playing the style of football they want. He's cool. He's fashionable. It's more right now. You're more popular on social media if you back Ten Hag. So they're going to get behind it. And a way of kind of elevating that is by lowering the immediate expectations. Interestingly, though, Ali, my expectations are identical. I'm going to give him time. I expect a step change and progression each year, but to get back to the same point, which is at the very minimum challenging for the major titles, being highly competitive in games, and essentially not being a laughingstock, being able to win the major honors. So my expectations remain exactly the same as the previous few managers. What's your take on him as a manager, though? Because I'm more interested in what you think, I test.
I don't know. I cut out for a bit. I was talking for a little bit more, but I'll answer your question. For me, this is the question I have for United fans about Ten Hag. You asked me the question, what do I think about him as a manager? My question is, did the Man United fans want Ten Hag because of his accolades, of what he's achieved in a game, or just for his style? Because for me, looking at it, yeah, objectively, I think that the United fans mostly they want him for the style, not because of his accolades, his achievements, what he's done in the game. Because the guy is older than Pep Guardiola. He hasn't achieved much. His biggest achievement was going to the semi-final of the Champions League, and he got knocked out by Pochettino's Tottenham, which is a good achievement, but that's his greatest achievement. There's managers that out there that have achieved just as much as him, maybe even more than him, that were available. Yeah. And so my question for United fans, what's the real reason? Because
can I have a
Go on.
Well, in terms of why I want him,
No, you're there, mate. Go on. You're gone.
Yeah, in terms of why I want Ten Hag, is for the accolades, and it's not just for the fact that he's won trophies, but if you actually look at his history, the reason why he's not done like, let's say, like a Klopp or a Pep or a Tuchel, who are similar ages to him, is because if you look at the clubs that he was at, what was he doing? He was bringing them up and building them up from the inside to get them to a better place. So if you look at Go Ahead Eagles, he got them promoted, helped them rebuild, get them back into Eredivisie for the first time in years. He goes to Bayern Munich 2 for a bit, again under the Bayern Munich structure, under Pep, who's the main first team manager. They loved him there. He learned more experience. He goes to Utrecht now. Again, another team that needed help rebuilding, restructuring. He was also technical director at that club. So he spent time rebuilding that club, got them into Europe for the first time in how many years? Then he goes to Ajax, who before him were not winning trophies at all for like 4 years straight. He had Feyenoord and PSV beating him to flipping trophies. So he's gone in there again, rebuilt the club, not in terms of structure in that sense, because Ajax structure is fine, but the mentality, rebuilt the team to get them into a winning team, and won 3 on the bounce, two Dutch Cups, and technically it should be 4 on the bounce.
Okay, let me ask you.
You know what I mean? So because one second.
Yeah.
But so because of these things, looking at what Manchester United need, that's why I wanted him, because he's got the experience of rebuilding these things. And now, even though he's the same age as these man, he's taking it to that new level of like, let me try and do this at Manchester United. Is it the same kind of accolades as the other managers in the league? No. But is it still something that's you can be hopeful from? Yes.
Yeah. So I test. I'll come back to you in a minute. I just want to add on to what KJ has said. Yeah. I don't think there are any managers available right now with the style of football Manchester United and its fans want, who have won what Pep and Klopp have won before joining City and Liverpool respectively, that want to join. There was Zidane, but he didn't want to come and manage in England. So it becomes a moot point. There was Pochettino that hasn't won anywhere near, or for me, done as much in football as Erik ten Hag. Tuchel was already at a club. Antonio Conte, you could argue maybe we should have bought him in, but there's question marks over him and his European pedigree. Every manager we could have bought in has a question mark over. My challenge to you, though, you're talking about it isn't accolades and it's how things look. You came on this show almost 2 or 3 times a week for 18 months and moaned about Man United's lack of style, how boring the football was, how bad the style of play was, and how you would talk about football as an entertainment and how you wanted to be entertained and have good-looking football. So you've got a manager now that gives you that. Plus, he has a winning pedigree. He has a great background, as KJ said, of building up clubs. I don't understand your negativity towards Erik ten Hag. I'm not suggesting you should sit there and say we're back. We're going to win the Champions League the year after next. We're going to have another Fergie on our hands. That would be mental. But I would expect you to go. You got what you wanted of Ollie being sacked. You're getting a manager in now that's one of the best in house right now that you could possibly go and get, best in class that you could go and get. He's winning things. He plays a good style of football. What box isn't it ticking for you?
I don't know, I took a step back and I looked at the bigger picture because, like I was saying earlier, before I got cut out, because of my internet, I think there was a little bit of contradiction with some of the United fans with how they look at things. With Ollie, they were saying with these players we should win the league. Now with Ten Hag, they're saying, let's rebuild. But they were criticizing the Ollie inners for using these terms. But now they want to use this term because it's a man that they like. And another thing that I was thinking about is if Conte came in right now instead of Ten Hag, the Man United fans would expect a league title. They would say, let's go for the league. Let's go for Champions League. Let's go back to the top. That's another thing.
I'm going to interject. I understand the hypocrisy, and I agree with you that people will always do that. I said when he was sacked, the Ollie in, Ollie out debate was never going to go away. It just moves on to a new subject matter. People are like that. My question again to you is, forget everybody else. What do you think? Do you think Erik ten Hag is good enough for Man United?
No, I don't believe he's good enough because, as I was gonna say, if Conte came in right now to this team, the expectation would be let's win the league. Let's maybe not next season, but the season after. But with Ten Hag, it's more like a 5-6 year process. So you have to question, why is that the mindset with Ten Hag? Why is
you're going back to other people's standards, and I get that. And one of the reasons would be, a real reason is this: Antonio Conte made a habit at Inter Milan and at Chelsea of getting like really good performances out of players you don't expect. Like the guy took a old Ashley Young and squeezed some juice out of him. He took Vicky Moses and turned him into, for an 18-month period, one of the best fullbacks in the league, if not in Europe, like wingbacks in the league in Europe. Erik ten Hag isn't renowned for doing that. That isn't something he hasn't taken over a team where the fans are screaming at how bad the quality of the players are, and he's jigged around their positions and suddenly they've won a league title. So there's that. But however, let's not get distracted by what other people think. You said you don't think he's good enough. Why?
Because, like I said, his accolades, they're not impressive. What he's achieved in the game, it's not. He's never achieved anything that's wow, like have hope, the GOAT. He's never done anything that's degree of difficulty. That's what I rate managers.
Of available managers that are available, not that are other clubs, that are other big clubs who are available, who would you have brought in that's better, that's achieved that degree of difficulty?
The big mistake was not sacking Ollie a week earlier, because then we could have got Conte.
Yeah, but that's done now. There's no point. You can't take that out. You can't take that out on Erik ten Hag. So who would you have got in now? Conte's gone. He's not available. Who else would you go for?
Right now? Let me think.
You don't know, do you?
You know,
My other point I test would be this to you. So what's your mantra and expectations going to be? So what are you going to demand year 1, year 2 from Ten Hag? What do you want to see?
well, I'm gonna keep it consistent. Unlike a lot of other United fans, if Conte came in, they would have said win the league. If with Oli, they said he should win the league. So Ten Hag should win the league. Let's keep it consistent.
Wait. No. When you say win the when you say win the when you say win the league, when you say win the league, I want Ten Hag to also win the league. That's not the question. When do you want him to win the league? That's the real question.
When do you think he will? Like, when do you think he will? Like, expand
next season. He should. That's the expectation. I don't think he will, but I'm saying we need to keep it consistent. This is Man United with the Oli outers. They were saying, the Twitter Spaces and guys.
Again, where you're wrong about what you're saying is this. People at the beginning of this season said, with the squad we've got now, I expect us to challenge. That was 2.5 years into him being the Manchester United manager. So nobody suggested when he took over that he was going to win the league. Nobody said in the summer of 2018, I expect to win the league. Nobody said in the summer of 2019 that we should be winning the league. Nobody in the summer of 2020 said we should be winning the league. It was only at the start of this season, with the signings we made, the fact we finished second the year before, and the trajectory was good, that you actually look at it, the win ratio, points per game was rising for about 15 months. So of course there was a higher expectation. With Ten Hag, where I agree with you, though, I don't believe this squad is as bad as people are making out. I don't believe, yes, 10 players are going to go, but if Oli was still here, 6 or 7 of them would also be going this year as well. Like, it's all being over, but Matic was never going beyond this season. Mata was going to leave. Lingard was going to leave. Phil Jones was going to leave. Pogba. That's 5 before you've even started. Henderson was probably going to leave. Like, you're there at 6 to 7 that were going to go on the Oli irrespective. So it isn't this mass clear out just because of Ten Hag. Ten Hag will maybe change 3 or 4 players that would leave compared to Oli and vice versa. This squad isn't as bad as people make it out to be. There is some good quality players in here that need structure, that need better coaching, and you add some quality to it. Will it be ready to win the league next year? In my opinion, not on your Nelly. But inside, by the start of his 3rd full season, would I expect him to be challenging? Yes, because we will spend big money, we'll pay big wages, and we're Man United Football Club, and that is where I expect us to get to. So that element I agree with. But this season, you're off your rocket. I get the feeling from you, my friend, that you're looking to set up a negative campaign against him from day one.
No,
and
Terry, let me tell you something about you. You need to open your eyes. You see these trust the process managers. Over time, I've realized you can never trust these trust the process merchants like Arteta, like Lampard, like Oli. They never succeed. Like these managers that
Klopp,
they use trust the
process merchant.
No, Pep? That's the only one that's worked. Pep wasn't a trust the process merchant. What do you mean?
Yeah, he was. It took him a year.
The managers that have the tag, I'm telling you right now, the managers that people use trust the process on, you can never trust these managers. That's what I've realized. You can never.
That's not the managers, though. It's the clubs.
I would say this about the whole trust the process thing. I get where you're coming from, but it's also the fact that PR has become such a prominent part of football now. That phrase never used to get used. I remember there was a different word that was being used about a decade ago. It was, we're working on a project. The word project was being used by managers. It was like the project. The players go, I'm joining. This is a great project. I'm excited. Now it's the process and it's this. New words get used because the way they sell things to the fans. All managers have programs or projects or processes. They all have them at all times. There is a project and a process going on at City right now. That's why this notion of squad overhauls is a weird one to me. On average, Man City sign, if we just think first team players, on average, it's 3 or 4 in and 3 or 4 out every year. There's an overhaul or a mini overhaul nearly every year in most squads. That's just what happens. It's all about the overhauls really. And never really about buying and selling players per se. It's about style of play and attitude and culture at the club. And that's what it's about getting right, irrespective of the manager. And that's what we need to do. Let's see what Ten Hag can do. I'm open-minded. I agree with about 60, 70% of what you've said, by the way. Energy has to be the same for him. Expectations have to be the same for him. And just playing pretty football in 3 or 4 years' time, but winning nothing isn't acceptable. I totally agree with that. But this is about you being consistent with yourself as well, not going, well, I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna, because I get the feeling what you're almost saying is that you're gonna behave in a particular way to counteract attitudes from others that you don't like, even if you agree with them. Which is weird. But listen, eye test. It's great to speak to you again and have your say. How do you think? One other question: how do you think Rashford and Bruno are going to do under Ten Hag?
These guys are finished. Let's come on, man. I know you think Rashford still has a future, but look at the way I told you a long time ago. This guy was not the guy. The comments were laughing at me when I said Ousmane Dembele is better than him.
Well,
look at this season.
You also said Alexander Isak was 10 times the player of Haaland. So that's probably why people had a bit of a chuckle. But listen, Itest, always a pleasure to speak to you, my man. Make sure you phone in again, my guy, and we'll chat again soon. Top man.
Thank you.
Cheers, bro. Thank you. Super chat here says, thank God I found this show in this difficult Man United stress season. Love the show, Terry. Keep doing the great work. By the way, this Itest guy is a clown. The Itest is cool. Like he's just got his opinions. He thinks differently to most people, but he's all right. He's all right. He's okay. I'm sure he is. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Taxi for eye test. My God, is what Tyrone Butler has got to say. And Daniel says, meant to say this before. Oh, I meant to say before that Saliba leaves. Yeah, listen, I hear where you're coming from. I hear where you're coming from with that, Daniel. And thank you very much for that super chat. Everyone who's tuned in today, a massive thank. I'm sorry I can't take any more calls. I really appreciate everyone that has tuned in. Make sure you smash that like button before you leave and you subscribe to the Football Terrace. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.